Seven of Wands, King of Swords, Two of Swords, so there is a male here, a King of Swords, who is very intelligent, someone that is very mentally acute, someone that might be very well off in his career because he knows how to use his mind correctly. He has a very wise persona. You see there's an owl here hanging out with him. Owls usually represent wisdom, knowing. They could also represent the occult sometimes. But this King of Swords is grounded still. He's not all up in the clouds, right? He's high up on the mountains and he's flying with, birds that are grandiose. He can see from the top down in life. He can look outside of himself and see the world around him, evaluate what's happening, right? Even when he's in a place where he feels stuck. With the Two of Swords, it's feeling like you don't know which way to turn. You feel lost, right? So at times when you don't know which way to turn, at times when you don't know the answer, at times when you are trying to figure out which way to go, or in any decision really. Sometimes when you turn inward, like this girl here is in this card, she's blindfolded and she's being torn by two different crows. Do I go this way? Do I go that way? It's pulling on her strings, right? The only way to figure out the right answer is to go inward. Seven of Wands, as you could see, she is centered. She's in lotus position. She is grounded. She is protected by her own energy. So what I'm getting from these three cards is there is somebody here that is astute in his own right, but he still feels a little bit lost on what way to go next. The answer lies within. And it's not this floofy thing where the answer is just going to be told to you in your dreams. Maybe it does. Sometimes if you're really attuned to your intuition, maybe it will. But it's really about stopping yourself from looking around you and to find the answer and starting to look within. You close your eyes, you feel what's within you, what's in your solar plexus. What is your gut telling you to do? What is your gut telling you in general? That's where you're going to have this high up point of view, where you can see the forest for the trees. You could see the whole entire forest. You could see your whole entire life from above. A lot of people talk about near-death experiences where they leave their body and they look at themselves in the hospital, right? They're floating above their body. They're looking at themselves. You can do that without having dire circumstances. You could float above yourself. You are your awareness. You are the witness to your life. So if you begin to meditate or you begin to give yourself time to introspect, to look inward, and you look at yourself from above, detached almost, right? And you start to see patterns that you're putting yourself in. You're starting to see where you are being lazy maybe, or you're being too stressed out, or you're being too controlling, or whatever it is that is bothering you, whatever is making you feel undecided. The answer is when you close your eyes and give yourself some solitude, to have a little bit of meditation on a daily basis, to understand what decision you need to take, where you need to go, who you need to share it with. Five of Cups is a very drowning experience here. I think that this person has had a lot of disappointment when it comes to love, relationships. And in order to change that, you have to be introspective on what happened. It's not about blaming people or blaming yourself. It's just about being real with yourself about what happened. What really happened with these relationships? Why did they all go down the drain? Like you could see here, it's like there's a hole, and all of the water from all of these cups, these chalices, these singing bowls are being drained. And she's, slumped over. She's just almost at a moment of defeat, because when you watch your life be thrown away, or you watch everything that you've, worked towards destroyed, or you watch a relationship crumble to a point that it's gone, it's harrowing, it's sad, everyone knows that. So when it comes to relationships going forward, you have to be like, well, am I going to go and jump into the same pattern that I've always been in? Am I going to jump into the same type of personalities that I've always hung out with? Am I going to do the same things that I've always done and make the same mistakes? Because life will give you the same problems until you learn how to solve them proficiently. It will give you a problem and say you fail at it. Okay, no worries. Take a lesson, dust yourself off, get a little better, try again. Life will give you the same problem in a different package. Did you learn this time? No? Okay, well, try again. If you have a few more cups. And you go through these relationships and you realize that you're making the same mistakes. Life is going to keep giving you those problems, the same problem, until your soul recognizes the lesson. You have to take the lesson and be better. This is why there are problems in life. It's a very Buddhist way of thinking of things. It's like expecting life to be hard, not because you are a nihilist or you're negative or a pessimist. It's just because if you have this false sense of reality, thinking that life is always going to be easy, or it should be easy for you, right? We should just be sitting on clouds, getting our nails done all day long. It's not that way. And the faster that you learn that every issue that you have currently in the past, it's literally a lesson from God telling you, you better grow up, you better learn this lesson so your soul can keep improving, so your life can keep growing. Your mind learns new things, your own personality develops in a way that you take the lessons, even if it hurts, even if it's hard, even if it's scary or upsetting or whatever it is, and you learn the little lesson in between. It's called the silver lining. The silver lining in a problem. It's a huge problem, but there's one silver lining, this beautiful inside light that comes from dark places, where you could reach into your pocket that you think is empty and you pull out a point of view that you would have gotten before if you didn't go through that problem. So it's not about having problems in life, because we all do. It's about improving from them. Are you improving from your problems? The wheel, right? The wheel can turn, in order to stay on top of the wheel, in order to stay on top, in order to improve whatever you're doing, you have to learn how to roll with it, right? The wheels roll. So they go up and down, your life goes up and down. And in order to stay grounded, like this girl is in tree pose, you have to be rooted in your belief system, and you have to be balanced as well. There's a lot of balancing when it comes to getting to the wheel. It's a number 10. So it's balancing light and dark energies in your life, right? You can't just accept that life is easy. You can't just accept that life is hard, but you just have to know how to gracefully roll with the punches. And in order to do that, in order to stay grounded in a world that is so unnerving sometimes, you have to learn how to look inward and level yourself. If you are feeling like you are extra emotional or you're extra in your head, like the King of Swords here is someone that is constantly thinking. Sometimes he thinks too much. Sometimes he overwhelms himself with too much thinking, and you could do that, because it's like turning on the car and just letting the car roll wherever it does. You're not steering. You don't even have your hands on the wheel. You're just letting the car roll wherever it does. And that's kind of like your brain if you don't control it. You are the person in control of your own mind. You could let your mind wander, and you should sometimes in order to defragment your brain, to meditate, to let go and settle your mind. But you're the one in control of your car, your mind. So you have to be the one directing your mind where to go next. If you let it just flip-flop everywhere, this is what happens with your mind, is that your mind is there as a security system. Your brain is there to protect you. And if you hire a security guard, this security guard is not going to be thinking the best out of people, right? If you're let's just say you're in a bar, right? And you hire a security guard for your bar. And this security guard, if he was good or she was good, they would be scanning the room looking for potential trouble. 11:11 o'clock. They're always looking for potential trouble because they're trying to make you feel secure, to make you feel safe, to look for problems before they occur, right? It's a way of being hyper intuitive of what's going on around you. It's almost expecting the worst to happen before it does so you can plan ahead. Now that is a way to be secure and stay safe, but it's not always the way that you should be looking at life. But in that setting, the security guard is meant to keep you safe, same as your brain. Your brain is there to look for things, look for possibilities, look for potentials that could happen to you that might be bad for you, basically. So what I'm trying to say is that your brain is there for a reason. It's your best friend, but it's there to always look for potential problems, right? If you're not directing your brain to look for other things in life, to focus your attention on what could go right, to focus your attention on, where you're going, or a plan, or studying, or something else that's positive, your brain will, by default, look for negative things because it's trying to protect you. So you have to remember that if you just let your brain go haywire and drive itself around, it's going to always look for negative things. Now, of course, you could daydream, you could think about, nice things, you could think about people that make you happy, you could think about things that make you happy, excited, all that stuff too, but it's your decision on where you direct your attention. Because if you just put your brain on default and you're not the awareness behind your brain of where it's going, where your attention is going, it's just going to go to a negative spot just because it's trying to keep you safe. So you are the awareness behind your body. You are the awareness behind your mind and the chatter that's going on in your brain. You have to be the one to drive. Okay? So if you are trying to meditate, if you're trying to study, you can't just open a book and just have the words jump into your brain. You have to read. You have to consume information that makes you direct your attention to something positive. Once you realize that your brain is there just to keep you secure, it's your security system, you learn to realize that you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts aren't your identity. Your thoughts are there to help you along. And you can either direct your thoughts like a programmer would with a computer. If you are the programmer behind the computer, you can program the computer to do whatever you want it to do. You can program the computer to think however you want it to think or react certain ways. But if you just let random things, happen, and you have no control over yourself, over where your attention is going, your brain will just go haywire and you won't like it. Most people feel uneasy when they don't have control. There's a lot of things with anxiety and stress that make people feel overwhelmed and stressed out because their brain is just going a million miles an hour on all the problems that they have, and it stresses them out even more. They get anxiety, their brain stresses out, they don't have control over themselves, they get more anxiety, they get depressed, all these things happen. They develop coping mechanisms that are bad for you, addictions, distractions, you become ignorant, because now you're hiding from your thoughts because you're not in control of where your brain is going, of where your mind is paying attention to. You're letting it, some people call it the monkey brain that just jumps around, and it doesn't have any direction. It's just kind of like jumping around here and there. It's not a place where you can settle and find peace. So in order to keep your mind in a state of peace, you have to have a one-pointed attention on where you're going with it. Basically, you have to have a goal for yourself on how you want to feel every day. Do you want to have a good day? Do you want to feel frustrated today? Do you want to focus on all the people that piss you off today? Do you want to focus on where you're going and feel excited? What is your decision on where you want to go? So we have the King of Wands and the King of Swords. This is someone that puts things into action after they think about it. So again, it's not just thinking, it's not just doing, it's a combination of both. You have to think correctly before you do correctly, right? In order to achieve a goal, you have to imagine the goal happening first. You have to believe that you have a chance to get the goal, right? And then you put the actions into place. You take control over your destiny. You take control over your life. You take control over your mind and your emotions by how grounded you are, by how centered you are in life. And that's how you stay on top of the wheel of life. The wheel keeps on turning. I think there's a song like that. And in order to stay planted in a place in life where it keeps you positive and optimistic about your future, or even just gives you peace of mind. If you think of that term, peace of mind, what does that mean to you? You can have a bad past. I am at peace with my past. The past happened. The past doesn't define you. The only time the past defines you is if you keep making the same mistakes in the future. You have to have peace with your past, and you have to know and learn that it has brought you to where you are meant to be. And if you keep learning that, and if you keep accepting challenges in your life as just another way to go through a new door to get better in life, then you have a really good mindset on life in general, right? Like, you won't feel triggered by your old memories or your old life or the old you. It's time to forgive yourself and release any kind of guilt that you had in the past. You might still carry a lot of guilt or negativity from past relationships, or maybe you went through a traumatic event, or any kind of action that you feel like you made a mistake with. You have to have peace knowing that you made a bad mistake. Okay, own up to it. You made a bad mistake. Whatever it is, it's not the end of the world. The only time it's the end of the world is if you keep making that mistake. Accept your humanness. Humans are imperfect. We're all imperfect. We all make mistakes. We're all here to learn and grow from our mistakes. That is what we are here for. We alchemize the dark and we turn it into light. We alchemize the problems that we take. We chew it up and spit it out and make it worth something in life, right? So you can't lament over the bad decisions that you've made, up until now. Memories are interesting because they can be changed and skewed over time, but they're here as a profound tool for us. Our brain is giving us memories to process our lessons that we've made and to heal from them. Who you were can highlight how far you've come. It definitely can, but your growth on where you're going next is only current in how you think. You have to contemplate, the needs of what you really need in life, right? What is your needs? What are your needs? What do you really need in life? What advice would you give to yourself as a child? If you met yourself, if you were a child, say 7 or 8 years old, and you were struggling, and you met an adult that came to you and gave you advice, what would that adult tell you to help you? Listen to the advice of your future self. You know, sometimes this could be like almost like a message that someone from your past might enter your life again, someone that you let go of, where they're going to test you. Are you going to take back the past? Are you going to take back the past energy that you used to accept? Are you going to take back the past person that you used to be with, even though you know it's wrong? It's just time to reminisce, see how far you've come, see the obstacles that you've been struggling with in the past, and learn from them. Take the lesson, find the lesson if you can't find it, and then connect with your future self and where you're going. That's how you find your whole being. It's about accepting the dark and the light in you, in your life. It's not about pretending that your life is perfect or that it should be perfect or that you should have this or should have that. It's saying to yourself, like this card says, I am at peace with my past. I'm at peace with all of my past decisions. I'm at peace with all of my past relationships. I'm at peace with it because it's in the past. I learned the lessons and I'm taking them with me in the future. My past has brought me to where I am now. So for better or for worse, what you have now is your future, in a sense. What you're doing now is going to affect your future. Your past has nothing to do with that anymore. Your past resides in your bones, in your cells, in the molecules of your body, in your brain, in your memory, in your heart. And it could stay there forever. But in order to alchemize any kind of hurt or past negativity, you have to learn to treasure it as a gift. And it's not about accepting bad things as a gift. It's more of like, thank you for this gift. Thank you for this lesson that you gave me. I'm going to take this lesson and I'm going to succeed with it.